Hi y'all, this is the legend Gabe Gordon. He's back with another week of the Legend Tales episode for episode 8. And he's got a special guest. And as well, I'm recording this on a Tuesday, which means it is election day. Hopefully you all can go out there, get out there and vote for the right person today. So here is my special guest. I'll turn it over to him for one brief second, and then we'll get rolling with high school football talk.
One brief second. That was enough, right?
Well, you got to introduce your name and stuff first so we can get rolling with this.
Okay, my name's Taylor Burnett, sitting here with the legend, just like the old days, right?
Yes.
Just no headsets now. You never liked the headsets, though, did you?
Not in particular too
Yeah.
well.
I tried to turn yours up real loud so it'd bother you.
Thankfully, we don't have any headsets in this room.
You're right. All right.
That's a good thing. All right, so now we're going to start with a little bit of high school football. We have Shattuck at home against Ringwood, Mr. Burnett. How do you feel and what do you think on that game and the impact of that game?
I think it is Shattuck's Class B championship to lose. How's that? They're pretty loaded. They're pretty dynamic. You know, last year they were in the finals against Laverne. What a great game that was. But I think this year is it Shattuck's to lose. They've got a lot of talented players, especially at the skill positions on the line, and those guys can get to that corner and score real fast. So they're fun to watch, especially 8-man football is just such a fun thing to watch. You know, it's just scoring galore, right?
Yes, right. So next we have Sealing takes on Pioneer. Me and Stetson went to that game earlier this year as I was on the call with Heath, Mr. Gregory, and Stetson, and that is Greg Gregory. So we all went down there to watch that game. So, Mr. Burnett, what do you think about that game? How do you feel?
Well, what happened before?
Sealing ended up getting the win, but this time it's different because Sealing's dealing with some guys that are hurt and out right now. So I want to see what you think and just give me the impact on that game
Well,
and who's going to win the game.
you know as well as I do, when it comes to 8-man football, when you have key injuries, it's pretty tough to overcome, correct? Because a lot of those guys in 8-man football are playing both ways. Iron Man football a lot of times. So, but I'm still going to, been there, done that. I think that Sealing's going to get the victory. I'm always going to pull for the local teams more, and I think they're a little bit of an underdog here just because of the injuries, but I think that they get the victory.
Okay, next we have Laverne versus Wacomas. Laverne will host. Give me your thoughts on that game, Mr. Burnett, and who will come out victorious and why.
I think it's Laverne. I think we're going to see Laverne roll in this as well. I think you're going to see a 46 in Laverne and Shattuck the first round for sure, in my opinion. What do you say?
I say yes.
Okay.
I say they'll both probably win easy. So
And the cool thing is when they're going to get the 46 is I think you're going to get some young guys get some playoff time, right?
Right.
And that's going to be pretty cool and pretty valuable on down the line.
Most of them guys for Shattuck this year, Mr. Burnett, have got playing time. Most of them
not
young
in playoffs.
Guys. No.
Playoffs.
Playoffs.
As Jim Moore used to say, right?
Yeah. Okay. So next we have Buffalo and Maysville. That game's at Buffalo.
Hey, what a season Buffalo has had. You know, last year when we were on the radio, we really were rooting for them very hard. One of the hardest districts, and look at what they turned it around. You know, it's a great season. Buffalo rolls.
I think, Mr. Burnett, that the high school coach of the year will probably be Dustin Yacht from Buffalo.
If it is not, is a travesty, in my opinion. You could see the turnaround last season, right? You could see the momentum building. They really were just kind of unfortunate not to make the playoffs last season. I think that this is a team of destiny. He's definitely his coach of the year, beating some great teams, and I think you're going to see momentum ride. And I hope that Class C championship ring is on their finger at the end of the season.
I would like to see Shattuck play Laverne in
Okay.
the playoffs.
Okay, I agree.
That's the game I would like to see
I
right there
I,
in the
I think
finals.
everybody around here always wants to see that, right?
So next, Mr. Burnett, we have this will round out the Class C and B as we could talk a little bit about Woodward too, if you would like to, Mr. Burnett,
This is your show.
and choose to do so. I mean, we probably got some people from Woodward listening to
I'm
us, so
just
I
riding
think we
your.
need to do it,
Okay, all
Mr.
right.
Burnett. So next we have Sharon Mutual versus Tipton. The games at Tipton, Mr. Burnett. Tell me who's going to win and why.
I think this is not going to be a 46 game. I think this is going to be a close game, going to come down to the wire. I'm definitely going to be pulling for Sharon Mutual. I think they've got a lot of skilled positions players, and they get that upset. That's my upset special of the week. What do you think?
I would agree with you, Mr.
All
Burnett.
right.
I think I think Buffalo wins. I think we see Shattuck and Laverne each 46 their
Well, right now
teams.
we're talking about Sharon Mutual and Tipton.
Yeah, I see
Okay.
Silling winning as well.
Okay.
And I want to go with an upset special here as well. I want to take Sharon Mutual over Tipton 30-26.
Ooh, all right. So low scoring.
Yeah, and in
Okay.
a good game. So
Okay.
we're gonna, I guess, supposedly now move on and talk a little bit about the Woodward Boomers and what type of season they had. So now I'll hand it over to the official man
I'm not official man.
who
No.
knows his stuff about the
No.
Woodward
I
football
don't know
team.
anything. I
Here
get
he
told that
is
daily.
again, Taylor Burnett.
It was definitely an up and down season. Highs and lows. You know, you go from doing a lot of great things, and then you lose some games you probably shouldn't. But Piedmont is very talented. Woodward was in the game. I didn't think they were in the game until late, and they came back. It was a must win for them. But it'll be interesting to see how things go. You know, their injuries affected them a little bit as well. But we'll just see how it goes in the future. But great season. Just another one of those close and no cigar deal.
Give me your thoughts on what you thought about Parker Pruitt and his quarterback efficiency and rating
What do
and
you
role,
think?
Mr. Burnett.
You're related, right? So you need to tell me.
No, I'm
Oh,
not.
you're just friends.
Yeah, we're just
Okay.
friends. I'm not
So
related.
you just tell me.
Uh, I don't know, Mr. Burnett. I want to
Okay.
get your pick and opinion.
I think that it's always tough to play high school quarterback, but he showed that he could get it accomplished at times. They're going to lose some key seniors off this team, though. But hopefully that you got some of those freshmen playing. A lot of freshmen played this season. So you hope that class can step up for them because they are going to lose some really key positions and players. And a lot of the heart of the team, as the seniors usually are. But Parker will be leading that into their next year as a senior, though, as well. So it'll be exciting to see.
Um, wasn't there a freshman that they said was pretty good? His last name was Hunter, Mr. Burnett, I believe.
Yes, Nash Hunter. Yep.
And he has a sister too, I think.
He has two sisters.
Two.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. You're right.
I know both of. Well, I know. Did both
You
of them,
don't know.
Mr.
You can't say you know both of them. You just thought he said had a sister.
A sister? I did.
Okay. He has two sisters.
I forgot he had two.
Okay. All right. All right. What are we
Did
talking
both
about
of them play softball?
now? I know one of them did. I'm not sure.
Hannah did, I
Okay.
think.
I'm not sure if Mackenzie did.
But both of them were related to Braden Lown, too,
Okay.
Mr.
Yes,
Burnett.
you're 100% correct.
Yes. Now we're gonna talk a little bit, Mr. Burnett, about college football. For all of you people that don't know out there, I have a little bit of a head cold. So while we're recording this, I'm recording.
Look at what happened.
I have a little bit of a head cold, and I'm sorry for the inconvenience.
It kind of makes for a better radio voice for you.
Oh yeah, Mr. Burnett, it honestly does.
Okay.
But now we're gonna dive deep into the OU and Texas Tech game, Mr. Burnett. What do you think about that game and why? And then I'll give my opinion and why, because I know one key play that probably ended up making us win that game. But I'll let you talk about it first, Mr. Burnett.
It wasn't a play. My key thing that happened and allowed you to win that game was Bowman being hurt and not being able to play. If he plays that second half, you lose. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Of course, the guy that came in definitely had a little bit of a better running game, but Bowman would have beat you. You should be grateful and thankful for that. So it might be a team of destiny. I loved it that Kyler Murray started off the game with 2 picks. That was probably my favorite part of the game because got to show that little showboat what's up with he and his dad, right? Daddy's boy. What do you think? Huh?
I don't know, Mr. Burnett, but um, I thought that probably one of the key plays was Robert Barnes getting that 100-yard two pick from the quarterback Duffy that he threw in the end zone when they was going for two, Mr. Burnett. I thought that was a key play. But I liked what Trey Sermon did. That man really showed something
Well, he
that
finally showed a little bit of toughness, and that's the thing he's been lacking a little bit. Always had the speed, hasn't he?
yes,
This is the thing is, I throw it to CD Lamb almost every play.
or Marquise Brown. But
No,
I think
no,
I think
no,
CD
no.
Lamb's better than
CD
Mark.
Lamb's a lot better.
I think
They're
Lamb's a
completely
lot.
different
I think
receivers.
I think they'll both go to draft after this year,
Oh,
Mr.
probably,
Burnett.
yeah.
Well,
Because
Ronnie Anderson's going too, but he might. Who knows
I
if he'll
noticed that
get
he
drafted?
declared that, but yeah.
He's hurt too much. So we have that. Before we move on to OSU here, Mr. Burnett, and talk a little bit about your Cowboys and the way they played, and I wanted to get your thought on them here in a minute. But for now, we're gonna stick and stay with the Bedlam subject. Mr. Burnett, what do you feel about Bedlam, and who's gonna win and why?
Well, I think you guys will win. There's a reason why you're double digit favorites. We couldn't have. We have had 2 of the most disappointing losses this season when it comes down to K State and Baylor, both on the road. A little bit of the things I question at times, the offensive line. I definitely question Mike Yursich. I've been questioning him for a long time. And, you know, Cornelius goes from being one of the best quarterbacks to one of the worst quarterbacks at 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", whatever he really is. But you would think that he could see the middle of the field a little bit better and make progression on his reads, but he does not. Granted, the offensive line, we had an injury there, and it was a little bit suspect. But that play call, he should have thrown it away. A lot of people said we should have punted, but we showed a little bit what our out of shape punter does when he's back there punting, taking too much time and getting a block for a defensive special teams touchdown. But history has proven itself when you guys are double digit favorites, as you are. What happens a lot of times?
It usually turns up to being a close game.
It does. But I still don't think it is. I think you guys probably win by, I'm going to say 4 touchdowns. I think that the one thing is this is what I hope. I hope that we throw it to Motley whoever Motley is on, that's who we throw it to every time. He's the worst defensive back in the face of the earth. He's worse than AJ Green, and that's saying a lot.
Hey, Mr. Burnett, but that one call was questionable.
I don't care.
That interception call.
When you suck, that's what happens.
Okay, so now we're gonna move on to OSU versus Baylor.
I just talked about it.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Bad coaching, bad play calls at times. I'm not going to question the 4th down, and not punting it. I would have probably gone for it as well. I'd have probably had a little bit better of an RPO, run pass option. The thing is it's almost as if the defense knew what was coming because they did not buy the fake to that. But you have one of the best tailbacks in the nation, and you don't use him properly a lot of times. Granted, I think it's the lines situation with that, but horrible win or horrible loss. Excuse me.
So, Mr. Burnett, before we go on to the college football rankings, I wanted to ask you: do you think you all make a playoff game, and
yes.
Who do you think that one will be against?
You guys in TCU. What do you? You like that?
No, Boomer Sooner, everybody.
No, I don't think we can beat you guys. I think it'll be TCU, hopefully. West Virginia at home is going to be interesting. The only reason we'll be on TV is if they like West Virginia enough, since they'll be going in for that playoff spot. What a victory they had, by the way. And Tom Herman is showing more of his class with his mouth, as usual. Maybe one of the mouthiest, stupidest coaches in the college football.
So, Mr. Burnett, before we move on to the college rankings, who do you think makes the Big 12 championship game and why?
Well, it's kind of obvious.
It's going to be Oklahoma and
And West
somebody else.
Virginia.
You think West Virginia gets in ahead of Iowa State?
Yes, I do. I think Iowa State probably might stumble, but this is the thing, that Iowa State loss that we had at home really doesn't bother me that bad. Now, when I look at the losses that bothers me as an OSU fan, I'd say it's K State and um, Baylor, of course.
So now we're going to go on to the college football playoff
Hey,
rankings.
I have a question for you. Who would win in a fight with Mike Gundy and Tom Herman?
Probably Mike Gundy.
Easily.
Yes, Tom Herman might be the worst.
People don't realize what a good wrestler Mike Gundy was in high school. John Smith knows, and John Smith's probably the greatest wrestler of all time.
Yeah, but you guys
in American lore,
you guys have always had a good wrestling team down there.
I know, but Mike Gundy could have probably wrestled, is what I had gathered. But he's a better
That
quarterback.
That was pretty funny. Did you go to that game? That was pretty funny, Mr. Burnett.
It was very funny. No, I did not go to that game. I had to come back home to feed sheep because my kids were all at national.
But man,
FFA
Mike
conference.
Gundy ended up getting the crowd pumped up.
Well,
Mr.
how could
Burnett.
you not be pumped up, right?
So Mr. Burnett, what do you think about the college football rankings right now and the college football playoffs?
It's Alabama. It's Alabama and everybody else. Can they be beat?
I mean, Tuivalu's probably winning the Heisman.
He should.
Kyler Murray will come in second or third at least, Mr. Burnett. He'll probably come in second.
Will Greer had a good game, though.
Yeah.
But I think Murray probably will, but
he'll get invited.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
He's not winning it, hopefully but he'll get invited.
He uses that $4.6 million signing bonus to get a nice suit. But it's Alabama and everybody else. But we say that all the time. We talk about it all the time. They usually stumble, but I don't know if I really see them stumbling this year. Just because I think they have some vengeance. What do you think?
Yes.
I don't think Clemson can hang with them.
No, I don't think.
Clemson's defense is great. Their quarterback's great. I like that they went to a freshman.
Where did Kelby Bryant go, Mr. Burnett?
Well, I don't know.
You guys got a transfer quarterback, correct? One of them that transferred I saw somewhere a while back.
Well, Drew Brown, but
Drew Brown and another one, I think. I saw where you guys had another one.
Well, we have a recruit. We don't have another transfer.
What's the recruit's name?
I don't know. Someone.
We have a recruit named Spencer Radler. If that's who you was trying to think of at the bowling deal last week.
Maybe, I don't remember.
He's ineligible for the rest of this year, but it won't hurt his chances at OU. Okay. So that was all college talk now.
That was?
Now we're gonna.
So who do you think is the Final Four in the BCS or not BCS?
Alabama, Clemson, Oklahoma, and Georgia.
I'm going to replace you guys with Michigan, even though I don't think Michigan's very good. But I think the Big 12 lore is down. The Big 12 mystique has been shown that we don't know how to play defense. And I think it's time for them to probably want a Big 10 team in there.
Yeah, but I don't think anybody can beat Alabama, Mr. Burnett.
No, I
like
agree.
You were saying earlier.
No, totally agree. All right.
Okay, so now we're gonna go on to NFL talk.
We should both be down in the dumps on the NFL talk.
Yes, very much so.
I know, it's just bad.
Man, my Cowboys are awful. It's I don't know. I don't know if it's Kellen Moore, Scott Linehan, Dak Prescott, Jason Garrett, Ezekiel Elliott, Jerry Jones. I have no idea who it is down there in Dallas.
I think it's
Brett Maher.
I think it's a combination of things. I think Dak Prescott's not as good as everybody thought he was. Defenses have learned how to play against him. The NFL is probably.
I still don't like Kellen Moore.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't like Kellen Moore, or do I like Scott Linehan? I like Rob Marinelli. We have a good defense. We just didn't play good last night, Mr. Burnett.
You didn't play good against one of the worst offenses out there.
Yeah, I mean, Sean Lee's out again. He always gets hurt.
Isn't that just horrible?
I bet
one of my favorite guys to watch on defense and one of the most injury prone.
That's
in the face
2
of the earth.
times now this year. He's got.
I know.
I think we should cut him after this year.
You cut one of the best defensive players, but
Well,
I get it.
I mean, we
Why
cut
don't you try to trade him?
our kicker. I mean, I don't know, Mr. Burnett. If they decide to cut him, they save some money. But
So what? One of the best guys out there.
I
if
don't
he's
know,
healthy.
but I
And
mean,
he's the heart of your team.
I mean, I want to ask
when
you.
he's out of the game, you guys suffer.
I'm going to ask you this question, Mr.
Okay.
Burnett. Who do you think Dallas Cowboys' next coach will be and why? And when do you think they'll fire Garrett? Jones will clue in that he needs to fire Garrett. Is Garrett back next year or no?
Garrett is not back next year, and I think your next coach will be Lincoln Riley. I'm serious.
Oh, yeah?
It was rumored to the Cleveland Browns he doesn't want to do it, but I really don't discount that.
He had 2,500 odds last thing I saw.
I know, but don't discount Jerry Jones. His stupidity level.
I just don't see we make the playoffs this year, Mr. Burnett. There's no way.
No.
Do you like Scott Linehan? And if not, why?
I mean, I do, but I don't know if you're using Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott the right way. I think that what did I tell you yesterday? I said Amari Cooper will be good for you as a red zone threat. And what happened last night, right?
He got a touchdown,
He did.
then Prescott threw it over his head and threw an interception.
Yeah, I know. But in the red zone, he's going to be that threat. He's going to be like that Des Bryant hybrid player, that tall receiver that you guys needed. And that's why I think they should have probably drafted Marcel Aitman instead of, but they didn't in those later rounds.
So, what do you think, Mr. Burnett, about our wide receiver core right now? Who do you think the best one is on there other than Amari Cooper? Because they
What do you mean other than? Okay, Blake Jarwin.
He didn't do anything last night.
Hey, no, he caught 3 passes.
3 passes.
Yes.
We had our best tight end was down. I mean, Dalton Schultz hadn't done much for us. Right now, as we're looking, Mr. Burnett, we're not going to be getting a very good round draft pick. So it turns out.
You know what you guys should do is tank so you can get Tua in the draft.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the way things are going right now.
Actually, you can't get Tua. It'll be next year, so never mind.
But the way things are going right now, Mr. Burnett, we're about up to 9th or 8th pick, huh?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is you got to make those first round draft picks count. The other thing is you guys have been notorious for taking a chance on people, and it doesn't pay off sometimes. Yeah, but also long term has it paid off because Rick Gregory out in Nebraska was on fire when he could stay clean, right?
Right.
Now he can't stay clean, can he?
What do you think about David Irving hurting himself? He didn't play last night, I don't think.
I know.
Him or Gregory.
I don't know. Your defense needs those guys and Sean Lee.
How long, Mr. Burnett, do you think Sean Lee's going to be out?
I don't know.
I saw a couple weeks.
Do I have my sports physical therapy?
No,
I don't know.
I saw a couple weeks. So
Okay.
now it's time to move on and talk a little bit about your Denver Broncos, Mr. Burnett, since you're in here and we're on the NFL topic. On a scale of 1 to 10, Mr. Burnett, how do you feel about your Denver Broncos this year and Case Keenum? And your kicker, Brandon McManus is his name?
Yeah.
Who's worse, him or Brett Maurer?
Oh, I think McManus is probably worse. This is the thing: is Vance Joseph last year? Fire him, get rid of him. Case Keenum is not working out, but it really boils down to a lot of things, and it boils down to the offensive line. You trade off your aging wide receiver and get a draft pick from him. So what can you turn that into? It'll be interesting. We got to look to the future. Case Keenum is not the guy. I don't know who the guy would be, but he's really not any different than those dink and dunk pass guys. I wish we could get someone in there. It's been the days of having a great quarterback. The defense is still phenomenal, but there's only so long that some of those guys on that front can be good. That front seven, incredible. I would never trade him. Philip Lindsay, I love what he's doing back at tailback. But we'll just see. The Broncos season's not good. Should be a fire sale coming up.
So now it's time to move on to the NFL, Mr. Burnett, and talk a little bit about the Thunder. They're 5-4. They looked pretty impressive last night after Westbrook went out with the injury.
What do you think sparked the team after Westbrook's injury?
Dennis Schroeder.
You think it was Schroeder?
I think it was Schroeder.
And I think we've got a pretty good rookie coming in there too.
Yeah, Diallo.
Yep, he kind of.
I really am starting to like Abrinas.
I know.
Abrinas.
Well, if he can shoot a high percentage from three, that's what we have to have.
And Felton got to play a little bit last night too, Mr. Burnett, for the second game this year.
But what did we start out the season?
0-4.
Yeah, and look at what we've done.
And we've won
that
5 in a row.
That Westbrook ankle worries me. It scared the heck out of me last night.
I don't know. They say X-rays were negative, Mr. Burnett. Both X-rays and an MRI came back clean. But he's going to have another MRI today.
Yeah. So we'll see. But, if you'd have asked me a while ago, I'd have said it's Billy Donovan's last season. I don't know, the way that this team is gelling, which you have to. I mean, not everybody knows each other, right?
Right.
And they're having to learn that. I still don't think that the Terrence Ferguson experiment is working out. You send him packing.
But bring back up Deontay Burton.
I totally agree with you on
Deontay Burton, you bring him back up.
Who
sign
cares
him.
if you have money in the guy in the NBA? It's here today, gone tomorrow. You've seen that with a lot of different talented guys. So,
Mr. Burnett, who do you want more? Do you want Corey Brewer more or Nick Young more? If they decide to sign another player.
Oh, Corey Brewer.
But whatever happened to Brewer? Brewer hadn't we signed with a team on
It's defensive purposes. It's just like the thing is you're seeing a lot of guys now in the NBA not know how to play defense, right?
Right.
And one of your favorite players, KD, is probably one of the worst defenders out there in the world.
Yeah, but Mr. Burnett, they keep winning. So
well, yeah, because how could they not? They've got an all-star team.
I mean, Cleveland fired their head coach. They're off to a bad start.
I wouldn't mind Tyronn Lue as a head coach. I think it's unjust what they did to him. That's just me.
I don't know, but they better start winning.
You're right. All right.
All right, well, that's going to do it this week for the Legend Tales shows with your host, Gabe Gore. I would like to thank Taylor Burnett for joining me today. I want to send it over to Mr. Burnett for a brief second, and then I'll be back again next week by myself, or maybe I can get Mr. Burnett to join me again next week. But as always, this has been the Legend Tales show with Gabe Gore, and as always, I'll be back next week. Boomer Sooner, everybody.